Very proud of our team. Obviously, very proud of our crowd. That was an incredible college basketball environment. Not sure that can be matched many places in the country. So to have that here is pretty incredible. And we lost to, it goes without saying, a very good basketball team. Obviously, the foul trouble in the first half. We got out to that 10-point lead. And 6 minutes into the game, Maurice has got 2 fouls, and that's a difficult thing to manage because of the way he plays and his aggressive nature. And then, of course, Justin picked up his second one right after that. So, that was a key point in the game. And, at 63-63, we have 2 wide-open looks from the three-point line that don't go in. And, they get fouled on a three-point shot and take the lead, and we couldn't get it back. But certainly disappointed that we lost. But a great learning experience for us. Villanova's terrific. We knew they were terrific. We knew it was going to take a great effort to win. And, I was fearful, turnovers, it wasn't a huge difference. Field goal percentage, not a huge difference. I was fearful if one of the teams could make 4 or 5 more three-point shots than the other team, that could swing it. And at the end of the day, that's really what happened.
Questions for the student athletes first.
Yes, for the players, 66-66 with 5 minutes left. And it looked like the difference was really you guys got good looks, but you just couldn't get them to drop. I guess how frustrating is that to look back on, knowing you were, that close to maybe taking down number 1 and just couldn't get shots to fall in the end?
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating because those are shots we make all day. So it's frustrating, but we did play very hard to a very great team. So we just got to keep our heads up and bounce back the next game.
It was tough. And when you have a play like that or something, we playing like that, you got to look back at the process and thinking, did you get in the gym enough? So we got to, after this game, we just got to realize what we need to work on, and obviously get in the gym, shooting some more shots, and just fixing the defensive mistakes that we made, and then we'll be fine. We played good. I'm proud of our team.
Just one more, Marcus, on those shots. Did they feel good? I mean, or did you know that you had those 2 back-to-back?
Yeah, I mean, all my shots tonight felt good as soon as they left my hand, honestly, but they just weren't falling tonight.
How tough is Villanova from a defensive perspective, knowing that you have to worry about the basics of everything, not leaving your feet, keeping sound fundamentals, but also that you might be able to do everything right for 30 seconds and they might still hit a shot over you?
Right, that is definitely a hard part because I remember there was times a night we would get stops and Chris Jenkins would hit long threes. So I think that's what we really have to clean up. That's been some of our problems all season. We'll play defense for 28 seconds and let people get offensive rebounds or let people get tip-out threes. So I think that was very what we need to work on today.
I think it felt good to when Coach tells you that you don't have to jump all over the place and try to block shots and just stay down and just play defense. So we did that for a good job in the first 28 minutes or whatever that was. We just had to, like we always talked about in these post conferences, is finishing the play and finishing the game. So if we can just do that, we'll be fine.
I know you lost the game, so you probably don't want to necessarily look back at the high points, but just describe the emotion of the night. I mean, or the afternoon, being able to play in front of the crowd like that, and guys making the runs that you did. How was it enjoyable? How much fun did you have in the good moments there?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a game I'll remember for the rest of my life. I've never seen a crowd base like that. We got such amazing fans, so even though we didn't get the outcome we want, I'll definitely remember this game for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it was a huge game. I had a lot of friends and family in the crowd talking about it all week, and it's kind of hard to stay not humble but stay low and not anxious and just be calm. And so we did a good job of not going out there with the hype and just playing like we do and being us. We just didn't make the shots, but we'll make those shots later in the season.
Those 2 lobs that Justin had, just Marcus, when he has those types of plays, how much does it fuel you guys and spark you guys? What does it look like today?
Yeah, it definitely feels the same time Justin gets a dunk. This team is so unselfish. It feels like anytime someone else scores, you feel like you score yourself. That's just how close we are. So, like those big 3 Z hit, and, those got us going, and then Justin got some dunks. So those things definitely get us going.
2 more for the student athletes. All right, thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Continue with questions for Greg McDermott.
Yes, Mac, you guys started off pretty well offensively, it looked like, you built a double-digit lead. How big was the run Brunson kind of went on there to get him back in the game, and what was the, I guess, how did he get loose?
It was huge. You know, that happened at the same time Maurice got a second foul. You know, so you know, our we probably weren't quite high enough with our help on that high ball screen, and you know, some of the numbers that we ran, he shoots it better going left than he does right. So we were, you know, we weren't giving him the shot, but we wanted to make sure he wasn't going to shoot it going left. But he made big plays. It changed the game, 24-14, and he hits back-to-back threes. One of them was really challenged. But, you know, there's a lot of guys there that just won a national championship, and they don't get shook. They don't get rattled. And if you're not going to get rattled the way that crowd was at 24-14, you're not going to get rattled because they won't play in a tougher environment all year.
I think Matt asked the players, but how difficult is the matchup is it to go against that offense? Particularly, I mean, they were just really efficient in the second half.
Well, they're always efficient. I mean, that's what you saw today wasn't anything new. They just, you know, they're very fundamental, very simple in what they do. They post a lot of different guys, and you have to just kind of decide, you know, double team, not double team. You know, we had to go with a few more double teams because of foul trouble, because obviously they posted Maurice right away to start the second half. So now that puts your defense in a little bit more of a scramble and rotation mode, and we were trying to kind of stay away from that if we could. But you know, you have to understand going in, you're going to have to defend them for long portions of the shot clock. You know, they really walked the ball up the second half. The first half there was 37 possessions, which is a little bit more like we'd like to play. The second half it was 32, and that's with us fouling 3 or 4 times at the end. So you know, it was going to be under 30 had that game stayed close, which is the type of game they wanted to play. But we can't run if we're taking the ball out of the net. You know, we've got to get stops to run, and they were so efficient the second half that was difficult to do.
You talk all the time about it being a make-or-miss game. I think I asked you this question last year based on the looks you guys got. I mean, you see how close some of those are to, you know, going in, how well executed the play is, and the shot just doesn't drop. How frustrating, especially in that last five.
I mean, it's not frustrating. It's basketball. You know, Maurice's been shooting the basketball great. Kyrie's been shooting it great all season. Marcus is, I think, one of the better shooters in the country. And, you know, we had wide open shots. It's not like those were challenged. Maurice's 2 were wide open. Taz had a couple great looks at it. And then Marcus had back-to-back ones there when it was 66-66 or 68-66. And, you know, the reality of it is they made some of those, we missed some. And that's in a game like this with 2 teams that are pretty good. You know, a made shot versus a missed shot. You take 2 of those that are 3-point shots. That's a 6-point difference. And with 2 minutes to go, those 6 points would have been pretty huge.
You were out rebounded tonight by 15. That's been kind of the Achilles heel all year. How much of a factor did that?
I think it was a factor. You know, some of those were, you know, scramble type situations. I thought we did a little bit better job the second half than we did the first half. Of course, they didn't miss as much the second half, but you know, we play a relatively small lineup with 3 guards, and especially when Z's in the game, you know, we don't have anybody over 6'1" or 6'2" in the guard court. And, you know, Mikal Bridges is flying in there at 6'7", 6'8". So sometimes just the nature of how we're different physically than some of the teams we play, we're at a little bit disadvantaged. But we have to go look at it. And, you know, Justin's not a physical rebounder. It's just not who he is yet. He'll get there. But we'll look at it. We'll see how many of them were, you know, just bounced to the wrong place, and how many of them were blown assignments, and we'll do our best to fix the blown assignments.
You went with Zierden down the stretch. I think it was a 4-guard lineup. and he had a battle with Josh Hart and hit a couple threes. Why didn't, I guess, what went into that decision?
Well, you know, we put him in because we hadn't given anybody a break. Really, Taz and Marcus had to play the whole first half because of Maurice's foul trouble. And when Z went in, he played great. I mean, when you go back and look at the film and what he did defensively, he was really, really sound. He made 2 big shots. And then, they're playing four guards with Jenkins at the 4, and at times they had Bridges in there with Jenkins at the 4 and the 5. So rather than us being in a mismatch situation and having to switch one of our big kids on to one of their guards in a ball screen situation, we just decided to go with the 4 guards. And frankly, it put us in a position to have a chance to win the game. Like I said, we would take those shots anytime with a chance to win the game. And this afternoon, they just didn't go in.
I know it's probably not easy to look at it and say, based on their numbers, and say you did a good job defensively, but for the most part, you got them off the free throw line, and it looked like you guys were staying down on most of their stuff they like to do. I guess, what did you think of the execution of that game plan as far as being disciplined defensively?
I mean, they shot 6 free throws where we fouled them on purpose, so they shot 7 the rest of the game. If you would have told me with 2 minutes left they're going to only have shot 7 free throws, they're going to have 15 turnovers to your 11, I would have said we'd win the game. I mean, I thought keeping them off the line was that critical, and we did that. They just made some plays. One team made their 3, 2 very good shooting teams, and today one team made them and one team missed them. It's as simple as that.
And we surprised at all that Jalen Brunson goes for that many points and that many threes.
He likes to get to the rim, and we didn't want him to get to the rim, and I thought we did a pretty good job of corralling that. But Villanova, if you go through their run in the NCAA tournament, they're so good at just taking what the defense gives you, and so intelligent that way. And we had a few blown assignments where we weren't in the right spot, and again, Justin's in foul trouble. We got different guys in the game in a different position, and maybe not as effective as Justin was in those situations. And he hits a couple and he gets going, and then he's hard to get stopped. So he was, we recruited him for a reason. He's a heck of a basketball player.
2 more for Coach. You like the way he handled the atmosphere, the Big East physicality and all that stuff?
Brunson?
Justin? No,
Oh, Justin? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing you got to think about. We've got some young players that we threw out there today in a game like this, and Justin and Martine, and Kyrie's just a sophomore. And you look down those first 6 guys that played for them, or first 5 guys, they all played in the national championship game last year. So from an experience standpoint, obviously they're more experienced than about anybody in the country with those 5 guys because of what they meant to their team last year. But I thought Justin performed really well. And there's going to be, every game we're going to be able to go look at some defensive awareness situations that he would like to do different, and I would like him to do different. But there's not as many of those today as there was on November 15th, and hopefully in another couple weeks there's fewer than there are today. But he's, he certainly didn't get rattled by the magnitude of this game today.
There was a lot of
Go ahead, I got both.
It's your first loss, and you haven't been in this situation to have your guys bounce back. But how do you think they'll respond? And it's a game you wanted, and they wanted, but how do you think they'll respond?
We'll find out Monday. We're off tomorrow. I think they'll come back hungry. There's enough experience in that locker room, and guys that, with Cole and Maurice and Z and Zach, guys that it's their last time around, that they want to make sure we're prepared for every situation. And, we found out with DePaul going to Villanova and losing by 3 and St. John's beating Butler that, those were the 2 teams you thought maybe in our league that you could take a breath, and, well, that's not the case. So, we're still going to be a ranked team when we roll into New York City next week, and St. John's is going to give us their best shot, as is Providence when we go over there on Saturday. So, we've got a lot of work to do. You have to be ready for every situation. If you have an off night in this league, and I don't think we had an off day today, we just didn't make shots, but we competed. We did some things that I thought would help us win the game. But the team who figures out a way to hook it up for 18 times is probably the team that's going to win this league, and I hope that can be us.
just one more on Patton. I don't know how many times in your career you've let a freshman go back in the first half with 2 fouls. I guess what led to the decision to letting him kind of?
I was just worried about the way it was going. I'd kind of told myself with Maurice, if we can keep it 5 or 6 or above, we'll maybe put him in for a minute or two and get him out. If it's worse than that, we got to get him back. And then I just didn't like the way the game was turning, and Justin's presence at the rim on both ends of the floor is obviously huge for us. And it's a good step for him to be able to go out there and I'll watch the film, but I thought he did his job pretty well during those 3 or 4 minutes and still avoided foul trouble. So, those, if we're going to look back to 2 things that turned the game, those 2 fouls, the second foul on both those guys was certainly damaging to us. Thank you.